She sat hunched beneath the flickering street lamp, clutching her backpack like it was the last piece of the world she still owned. Snowflakes fell in silence, but her eyes screamed 1,000 sleepless nights. Evan wasn't a hero. He sold old books for a living and drank too much tea. But when he saw her there, barely more than a shadow trembling on his doorstep, something cracked open in his chest. He could have kept walking. Most people did. But then she looked up at him with tear-streaked cheeks and whispered 5 words that would change both their lives forever. "I have nowhere to sleep." It was barely audible, like admitting it made it worse. Her voice trembled from the cold, but Evan felt something else in it: shame. Hopelessness. He blinked, heart thudding with something between concern and instinct. "You can come in," he said, nodding toward the apartment door behind him. The girl didn't move. "I don't want trouble," she said. "You're not," Evan replied. "But frostbite is." She stood slowly, like her body had forgotten what it was like to trust anything. Inside, Evan's apartment was small but warm. Bookshelves lined nearly every wall, and the smell of cinnamon tea lingered in the air. He flicked on the heater, handed her a towel, and poured 2 mugs. "I'm Evan." She hesitated. "Lena." They sat across from each other, 2 strangers connected only by the quiet ticking of a wall clock and the snowstorm outside. "I don't usually do this," Evan said. "Bring people in. But you looked like you were at the end." "I was." A silence stretched between them. "I can take the couch," she offered after a while. "No," Evan said, standing. "Take the bed. It's warmer in the back." "I'll crash here on the floor." Lena stared at him. "You do that for me?" He nodded once. "No one should have to sleep in the snow." Lena used to believe in happy endings. She believed her mom's lullabies, believed her high school teachers when they said she was meant for something big. But life had its own script. Her mother died suddenly of cancer, and her stepfather, a man who never wanted to raise someone else's child, had made it clear she was no longer welcome. She left with 2 changes of clothes, a tattered backpack, and a heart too full of grief to make room for fear. She slept in shelters, beneath bridges, behind fast food restaurants. People stared through her like she didn't exist. At first, she thought it would be temporary. A week. 2. Then she lost her job at the gas station for showing up late after walking 6 miles in a storm. Her world closed in. The night she met Evan, Lena had stood for 10 minutes staring at a half-finished sandwich someone had left on a park bench. That's how far she had fallen. She had chosen that stoop to lie on because she couldn't walk anymore. Her legs were numb. Her spirit was breaking. She had whispered those 5 words to Evan as her last plea to the universe. And the universe, somehow, had whispered back through him. Evan gave her space. He set up his own blanket on the living room floor with a pillow and a novel he never opened. The soft hum of the radiator, the occasional creak of the old floorboards, and Lena's quiet breathing filled the silence. He barely slept. She cried. He didn't interrupt. In the morning, she was already dressed. The bed was made. Her bag was packed. "I should go," she said. "Where?" he asked gently. She paused, eyes shifting. "I don't know. Anywhere." "Stay," he said. "Just for today. It's supposed to snow again." She stayed. They settled into a quiet rhythm. Evan had a small used bookstore. Lena started helping him organize dusty shelves, alphabetize novels, and write quirky staff recommendation notes with doodles that customers loved. He never asked for explanations. She never gave any. But sometimes she'd look up from a book, her voice soft. "My mom loved this one," or, "We used to read on Sundays." Evan would smile and nod. That was enough. One rainy afternoon, Lena stared too long at a photo on the bookstore wall, Evan and a woman, both laughing, in front of the shop. "Your girlfriend?" she asked. He shook his head slowly. "My sister. Claire. She died 2 years ago." "I'm sorry." "Me too." He told her how Claire had convinced him to leave his corporate job and open a bookstore. He nearly sold it after she died, nearly gave up. Until one cold night, a homeless man named Joey sat outside the shop. Evan gave him a sandwich. Joey looked at him and said, "We're all one bad day away from where I am." "I guess," Evan said, "I wanted to be someone's Joey after that." One morning, Evan woke up and she was gone. Panic set in fast. He checked the bookstore, the park bench, the coffee shop. Nothing. Back home, on the floor where he slept, was a folded piece of notebook paper. "Dear Evan. You saved me. Not just from the cold, but from giving up. You didn't ask for my past. You didn't judge me. You gave me your bed when I felt unworthy even of your floor. That's something I'll never forget. I got into community college. If I don't go now, I never will. But I'll be back. Please don't sleep on the floor tonight. Love. Lena." 6 months later. The bell above the bookstore door chimed. Evan turned around slowly. Lena stood there, radiant and smiling, holding a small wrapped package. "Hey, bookstore guy." He smiled. "Hey, teacher girl." She handed him the package. Inside was a framed photo, the two of them sitting on the bookstore steps. A stranger must have taken it. The words written on the frame said, "Thank you for giving me a place to start again." Lena graduated 2 years later. Today, she teaches English at a public high school. Her classroom walls are filled with books, and on her desk sits the same photo. Above the front door of the bookstore, Evan had a sign engraved. "In honor of those who gave their beds to strangers." And inside, on the wall beneath a quote from To Kill a Mockingbird, hangs another. "Warm tea, good books, open hearts." Sometimes, all it takes to change a life is 5 words spoken in a whisper, and someone who chooses to listen.